Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will be diving deep into the fascinating history and incredible value of the Washington quarter dollar, a coin that has not only served as an everyday piece of American currency but also emerged as one of the most collectible series in U.S. coinage history. And while billions have been minted since its introduction in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, there are specific key dates, mint errors, and condition rarities that make certain Washington quarters worth far more than their face value of just 25 cents. Starting with the coin's origins, where the Treasury Department held a design competition that was ultimately won by sculptor John Flanagan, who created the iconic portrait of Washington that has remained on the obverse for decades, with only minor updates, while the reverse originally featured a majestic heraldic eagle, symbolizing American strength and pride, and the earliest silver quarters, minted from 1932 through 1964, were struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, making them both historically significant and intrinsically valuable, especially in higher grades or in proof versions. And among the most desirable issues for collectors are the 1932D and 1932S Washington quarters, both of which were struck in very limited numbers, with the Denver Mint producing just over 436,000 pieces and the San Francisco Mint producing only about 408,000, making them key dates of the entire series. With well-preserved examples in mint state condition often commanding thousands of dollars at auction. But the story doesn't stop there, because the Washington quarter has also produced some of the most famous era coins in American history, such as the legendary 1937 double die obverse, where the doubling on the motto, "In God We Trust," is clearly visible and highly sought after, often selling for several $1,000s depending on grade, and the equally iconic 1943 double die obverse and 1942 D double die obverse, both of which add immense value to the series. And while silver Washington quarters already hold great collector interest, the transition in 1965 to copper-nickel-clad compositions introduced another layer of fascination, since transitional errors exist where 1965-dated quarters were mistakenly struck on leftover 90% silver planchets. And these highly coveted errors can fetch more than $7,000 at auction, and one of the most famous modern errors in the Washington quarter series is the 1970 S-proof quarter struck on a 1941 Canadian quarter, an extraordinary minting blunder that sold for over $35,000 at auction, while the equally impressive 2000 Sacagawea Dollar mule featuring the Washington quarter obverse paired with the reverse of a Sacagawea dollar remains one of the rarest and most spectacular errors in U.S. coinage history, with examples selling for $150,000 or more, but perhaps the most well-known variety is the 1934 light motto and heavy motto versions, where differences in the strength of the motto, "In God We Trust," give collectors two distinct varieties to chase. And while those bring modest premiums, it's the condition rarity that truly defines much of the Washington quarter's high-end value. Because finding early silver issues in MS-67 or MS-68 condition is incredibly difficult, and auction records confirm this, with coins such as a superb gem 1932 D-graded MS-66 fetching more than $143,000 at auction, and collectors are also keenly aware of the 1950 D/S over mint mark quarter, a fascinating variety where remnants of an S mint mark can be seen under the D, which is yet another numismatic treasure from this long-running series. And then there are the later-clad quarters that also hide gems among them. For instance, the 1971 D double die obverse, which remains popular with era collectors, and the Bicentennial quarters issued in 1975 and 1976 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of American independence, featuring Jack L.'s colonial drummer design on the reverse, which, although common in circulation, also exist in silver-clad collector versions, and even in exceptionally high grades or with striking errors can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And this shows how the Washington quarter dollar, far from being just pocket change, represents an ongoing treasure hunt where every coin could be the next great discovery. And the highest auction prices recorded for Washington quarters truly highlight their status, with a 1932 DMS-66 reaching $143,750, the extraordinary mule error at $150,000, and several double die and transitional errors consistently hitting five-figure results, all of which proves that the Washington quarter dollar series is one of the richest, most diverse, and most rewarding areas of U.S. coin collecting, combining history, artistry, rarity, and sheer excitement into a single iconic coin that has been in circulation for nearly a century. As we continue the remarkable story of the Washington quarter dollar, it is impossible not to recognize how this coin became a cornerstone of American numismatics, bridging multiple generations of history, art, and collecting passion. Because while Part 1 highlighted its origins in 1932 and the significance of the earliest silver strikes, Part 2 allows us to go deeper into the extraordinary world of its evolution, varieties, errors, and modern transformations, each of which adds immense value and intrigue to collectors today, starting with a massive shift in 1965 when the United States Mint officially ended silver coinage for circulation and introduced the copper-nickel clad composition that is still in use. And although this change was primarily economic, reflecting the rising cost of silver, it also sparked one of the most fascinating areas of collecting. Since 1965, quarters struck on leftover 90% silver planchets from 1964 became ultra-rare transitional errors worth thousands, with authenticated examples commanding between $5,000 and $10,000 depending on condition, and that sense of discovery continues through countless mint errors found throughout the series, from off-center strikes where portions of the design are missing, to double strikes, broad strikes, and even mule errors where two mismatched dies were paired together, each one offering a glimpse into the unpredictable world of mint production. And while such errors remain scarce, they have fueled stories of ordinary collectors finding extraordinary coins in pocket change, proving that the Washington quarter dollar is far from ordinary, and its evolution did not stop there, because in 1976, the nation celebrated its bicentennial with special quarters bearing the dual date 1776 to 1976 and a reverse design by Jack L. Ahr featuring a colonial drummer, an issue that became iconic in its own right and introduced millions of Americans to the thrill of collecting, with silver-clad proof versions struck in San Francisco, adding further appeal for those who wanted something beyond the standard clad circulation strike. And yet the true renaissance for the Washington quarter dollar came in 1999 with the launch of the 50-state quarters program, a monumental initiative that released unique reverse designs for each of the 50 states over a 10-year period, turning a familiar coin into a cultural phenomenon that captivated the public, drove millions of new collectors into the hobby, and cemented the quarter as the most widely collected coin in American history. And while most state quarters are plentiful, certain varieties became highly prized, such as the 2004 D Wisconsin quarter featuring the famous extra leaf high and extra leaf low on the ear of corn, with early examples selling for hundreds and still valued highly by collectors today. And the excitement of searching through circulation for these hidden treasures brought a new generation into the world of numismatics, many of whom remain collectors to this day. And following the state quarters came the 2009 District of Columbia and U.S. Territories quarters, then the 2010 to 2021 America the Beautiful Quarters program, which honored national parks and historic landmarks with stunning artistry, such as the Grand Canyon, Yosemite, and Mount Rushmore, further enriching the legacy of the Washington quarter dollar. And during this period, new varieties and errors emerged, with doubled dies, missing clad layers, and misstruck designs, all adding to the thrill of the hunt. And while most quarters in circulation remain common, the potential for finding something valuable continues to motivate collectors, because when it comes to value, Washington quarters can surprise even seasoned numismatists, as seen in record-setting auction results such as a superb gem 1932 D bringing over $140,000, a pristine 1932 S achieving more than $100,000, and modern mint errors like the rare Washington quarter mule, where a Sacagawea Dollar obverse was paired with a Washington quarter reverse, selling for over $150,000, showing that even a series known for its abundance still hides treasures of immense worth. And beyond financial value, the Washington quarter also carries deep symbolic meaning, with its obverse portrait of George Washington serving as a constant reminder of the nation's first president and the ideals he represented, while the evolving reverses reflect the diversity, history, and natural beauty of the United States, making the coin a living canvas of American culture. And collectors often note that one of the joys of the Washington quarter is its accessibility, since anyone can start by simply checking their change and build from there into proofs, silver issues, key dates, or even high-grade certified examples, a collecting journey that can be tailored to any budget or ambition. And this flexibility is why the Washington quarter dollar has endured for over 90 years as both a collector favorite and an everyday coin, one that has outlived economic shifts, technological changes, and even major redesigns while still remaining at the heart of American coinage. And in looking at the full sweep of its history, from the silver classics of the 1930s to the modern park-themed quarters of the 21st century, the Washington quarter has proven itself to be more than just a denomination. It is a historical timeline in metal, a treasure hunt in every pocket, and a numismatic adventure that continues to grow richer with each passing year, because within its countless billions lie countless stories of artistry, history, and discovery. And that is why collectors, investors, and hobbyists will never tire of searching, studying, and celebrating this remarkable coin, which remains one of the most dynamic and rewarding series in U.S. history. Thanks for watching.